Good morning, humanity. It is November 14th, 2022, and it's the favorite time of the week and the favorite time of the month because it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. And Bev and Paul are together in the studio.
Together again.
Hey, everybody. My name's Paul.
Oh, hello. Good morning. This is Bev. In person.
In person, live and in person. It almost doesn't look like we're live and in person because we have this weird thing right between us. We could be in two different studios.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Oh, hey, everybody. How are you today? We just wanted to share with you the amazing Saturday we just had.
It was first time we've been to an event in a couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, for everybody, really.
Yeah, and God, we got to set up our tent and all kinds of things.
It was great.
So it was Baby Fest. It was at the Waldorf School here in Tucson, and you can look up a lot of the vendors still because it was amazing how many.
Oh
vendors.
my gosh,
Amazing.
I was so impressed.
So we also want to thank Elizabeth Mendoza. She's the one who set it up, and we showed her website up there, wisdomwithinbirth.com. She's a midwife, works with midwives and doulas and parents. And I'll tell you, if you are thinking of getting pregnant, you are pregnant, you're in your last trimester, you've been pregnant, you've had a birth, whatever.
All of the above.
All the above. You need to look into this and at least get some. The resources were incredible. I mean, we have the Tucson doulas that were there. We have a parenting village. You know, that the fourth trimester they get together here in Tucson.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a nurse-family partnership. There's these nurses that'll get together with you and they'll work with you. They'll give you a nurse to work with you. There was midwives there, and we looked it up. Is it midwifery or midwifery?
And guess what we discovered? Well, tomato, whatever you want to.
So that's good to know. And there's a Mothers and Babies project.
Mothers without babies.
Oh, where'd that baby go? Whoops, slipped out of my hand.
Oops.
There's another one, Child Family Resource. I mean, there were dozens and dozens.
Oh, I was so impressed, and you know, everybody's getting creative because we have these either a single or a group of them come up to the table. What's BioTouch, and then what do you do? Well, we do this and this and this, and we work with moms. I mean, it was amazing what's going on in that community of moms and babies, and
So, we learned something, so we're going to share a few of the photos that happened with us. We also want to thank Eileen and Bettina, Lena, Suzanne, Bev, and myself. We were there touching people. And, well, let's just show our little, here's what we were doing here. That wasn't there, but this was. So there's our little booth.
There's our booth.
And so people would come over with some with their babies. So here's one that brought their little, probably 1 or 2 year old on that one. And then we worked with mothers, and it's easy to do. You just do the greeting and neck and head. There it is, doing the greeting on the little baby, and showing mom how to do it.
I know. Oh, what about the couple that I showed him how the greeting and how to do her lower back during the time? That was cool.
Right.
So neat.
That we were able to show that father how to work on mom sitting right there. I mean, and they were really, most people that came up were really excited.
Very responsive and excited, and we worked on with a lot of the midwives and doulas and nurses to give them an idea how they can, incorporate BioTouch into their practice too.
Yeah.
I mean, they were all really excited. So.
So and working with the infants was a trip.
I
mean, some of these kids were just a few months old.
Babies, yeah.
And I'll tell you, you could really see an immediate response. When we talk about kids just know it,
Oh yeah.
I mean, you could do that greeting, and before you could get to ANA, they were just like,
They were already zoning
Just
out.
zoning it was amazing.
Yeah.
And then Bev and I did a presentation.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. We were filled up to capacity
Filled
in
up
our
the
room.
capacity, right. Whopping 10 people.
Yeah. Well, that's what they set up. We filled every seat.
Right. And it was interesting because, well, we had two couples. And then
Three
we had,
couples.
well, we had another couple that had they brought their 12-year-old.
Right.
So that was a family. And then we had a young fella who was there, and he was an expectant daddy.
For the first time, a new daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was just checking it out.
Right.
And we presented a lot about BioTouch. And a couple of interesting things happened. One thing was I was sort of blown away when we asked about, has anybody done any complementary, alternative, integrative kind of medical things?
Right.
No, they didn't even know almost what those
Like
words
what?
were. Yeah. And I was sort of like, this
Wow.
is interesting. And I said to everybody, you have the #1 school of integrative medicine in the world here in Tucson.
Duh.
So the resources you have here are
Yeah.
incredible. And what we found with all these different people that showed up to be vendors, the resources here are incredible.
Amazing. You're right. Yeah.
So they actually, I saw them walking around,
Yeah.
absorbing all these different opportunities that are available to them.
What a great experience for them. A learning experience,
Yeah.
on whatever level. Yeah.
And another thing, so we taught the points, and it was great to see like the mom and dad work on each other. Now, another interesting thing, two of the couples, their kids were 12 years apart.
One was 11 and one was 12.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
And there were a
Like,
couple of people I met like that. There was like a whole generation.
It's like going through it for the first time again.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
Right. Where it used to be 18 months,
Yeah.
and I did meet one person who I think
They had a year old, and she was pregnant.
pregnant.
Yeah.
They were busy. So.
You said, get into it.
So, but we were able to teach them to work with one another, and they actually did the points. And then it was really cool to see that 12-year-old work with mom and dad.
Yep.
That was real
Absolutely.
powerful.
Yeah, and tell her that, ooh, look at this. You can do something for your little brother and sister as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So getting the whole family
Yeah.
involved in the birthing process. That is what BioTouch offers.
That's what we're here to help do.
Right,
Yes. Yes,
right.
we are.
So again, if you want to find out some of those resources, I have up here Wisdom Within Birth. I spelled it wrong, but it's birth.com. And Elizabeth Mendoza is the one that set this up. So one of the other things we learned, so let's talk about the baby with the bubbles.
Oh.
The bubble baby.
Oh, man. Well, for one thing, I heard him cry an hour earlier when we were getting ready to go into our classroom
Right.
for our presentation. This baby is screaming all over the place. Well, Grandma had hold of him. Mama had to go. The minute Mommy got back, it kind of changed, okay? So Grandma was stressed out. Baby was totally not happy. Well, they worked their way over to our booth, right? And I recognized them.
Interesting.
And so I said, "Oh, I heard you earlier." And she's like, "Oh yeah, he's got this bubbly tummy." Okay. And I looked at Grandma and I said, "What's your story?" "I'm stressed." I said, "So y'all need BioTouch, right?" So she sat down. One of our CPs took Grandma and started doing BioTouch, and then Eileen stepped in. And the baby was held on Mommy's lap, right? And Eileen did the greeting. And when Eileen did the greeting, the baby was like this, still kind of a little bit fussy. By the time she did A and A in the headset, he's like, "What? What's going on?" And then she did his little tummy. Well, all of a sudden, what did he do? He started smiling and laughing. And Mama says, "Now this is a happy baby."
I mean, it doesn't get.
That's all I needed to hear.
It doesn't get any better than that.
I know.
And it reminds me of in the presentation we gave, one of the ladies, after going through the whole talk, she asked two really good questions.
Really good questions.
Her first one was, "Is this spiritual?"
Right.
or physical. And I was sort of like, well, okay, what do you mean by
It's-
spiritual?
Right. You did. Huh?
And she, because she'd heard about other things, but energy. We talked about energy work,
Right.
and we talked about no intention, and we said, no, we address the body, and she was. You could see her relax.
Yeah. Right.
There
Definitely.
was no belief system. There was no philosophy.
Yep.
It wouldn't get in the way of whatever you believed or social economics, and so she relaxed. And then after the whole presentation, she says, "Sounds just a little too simple."
And we're like, now that one we understand.
And so we talked about that, and she really brought up a point that we see all the time. BioTouch is too simple.
It's so accessible and so simple that it's easy to just move about your day, right?
Right.
Oh, that's crazy, but it's true.
Here we were working out and it was pretty warm that day. We had a
Yeah,
little
it was
tent.
nice.
We're moving the chairs to get to the
Yes.
shade. But every person that came over had an experience.
They did.
They
They
had-
always do, don't
Yeah, they had an experience. They had that wow experience.
they? Mm.
And though the babies couldn't say wow, you could see it just in their eyes. They would start staring. I mean, the minute you did the greeting and you start to do on the head, they were just
Kind of glazed over. They-
and for me, what's a problem is so many of those people are going to forget that experience because it's so simple. There's no place in the brain, but we gave them cards. They're on an email list.
Yep.
They got the first 10 pages of the manual, so the greeting that we were able to teach everyone, they are going to get.
That's right.
And that's why we have the website. That's why we have an organization, is to constantly remind. That's why we do these shows.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Is to just keep reminding people
The
This-
BioTouch is here.
it's here, it's available,
For
it's
them.
for you.
Yeah.
And we can't do any more than present it over and over and over. And these things are fun too. BioTouch is fun.
We have a good time.
Yes.
There's laughter and happiness and people feeling cared for. I mean, that's it, right? It's amazing.
And so that's even, and it was nice to be able to show people the research, like a lot of these nursing groups.
Yeah.
And doula groups, they wanted, what's the documentation? And as we talked about last week, the difference between the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nerve system.
Wow.
And how BioTouch works with the
Amazing.
sympathetic. Parasympathetic tightens you up, the sympathetic relaxes you. And so that was nice to share with those moms and
It
those
was.
families, because they didn't know
That-
anything about those two.
Well, I had
So-
no idea.
Yeah, so BioTouch is also educating, and that's why we're an educational foundation.
I was going to say, well, that fits. An international educational foundation is what
Yeah.
we are.
So though we're just teaching BioTouch, it's so intertwined with all the other things in the medical field, which is why we do our workshops.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
you know.
absolutely.
And our next workshop coming up is menstrual cramps with Paula Taylor, who really knows menstrual
Really
cramps.
knows what that's all about. That woman's an expert.
So that's going to be in December. And, part of this Baby Fest we wanted to share with you was from Kai, our certified practitioner, and that's her husband. And she gave us a testimonial that we read at the Baby Fest. It says, "I am so grateful I had BioTouch healing every step of the way of becoming a new mother. From pregnancy to postpartum, I found BioTouch to be crucial for managing stress and adapting to my new life as a mother. It was something my husband and I could turn to, as well as my doula, who was trained in BioTouch. I remember clearly one time having Braxton Hicks, which was scary and painful. The first thing I did was lay down, and my husband started doing BioTouch for me as the last thing before she left the hospital. Doing the abdomen set for me. I found this very comforting and to help with the situation. I also remember my doula doing BioTouch for me as the last thing before she left the hospital. It was very meaningful to me, and I am forever grateful. Now that I have a 20-month-old, I find that the whole family turns to BioTouch in times of healing. Bumps and bruises happen along the way, but it's so nice to have peace of mind.
So when I read that, I was reminded that BioTouch is a journey. And we say through all stages of life.
Yes.
And here we go, the baby in the womb, getting BioTouch through the mama, and then the birthing, and then afterwards, as Kai said, then the family starts doing BioTouch together. I mean, really, what a gift.
So please pass it on. I mean, everybody out there must know somebody having a baby, having an infant, getting ready, thinking about it. You know, let's get BioTouch into this next generation of babies on the planet.
Definitely.
Wouldn't that be talk about a revolution?
That's really, I think, where we're heading.
Right.
You know, that's where I think after this weekend, especially, I was reminded of how important BioTouch is during that whole beginning. Because we've had some experiences and testimonials of women who have, during pregnancy and you know, what's happened with them during and then labor and then postpartum. I mean, it just goes on and on. So there's something here.
And those that we know, like Kai and other families who have incorporated BioTouch into their families, you know, the babies, they're healthy. You know, if BioTouch truly does build immune system, it's doing that right away. And, you know, as we shared with the group, you know, they're finding that babies are actually being born immune deficient already.
Right.
You know, and stressed. You know, it's a lineage. It gets passed on. Well, BioTouch can change the lineage. Just because it might be in our DNA, the cells can change. And it's done by what Bruce Lipton always says, just with love. The dialogue of love. And BioTouch is the dialogue of love.
It is. It is.
So we love all of you, and that's why we keep doing this every week.
Yep.
Again, we have that workshop coming up. Our next training is in December 8th. It's December 10th. That's a Saturday, 9 to 4:30. You can sign up for that one. Again, massage therapists, doulas, and nurses get CE credits. And I found out that a lot of these nurses need to get certifications. They need extra CE.
Yeah, and through the nursing is where the doulas and the midwives, if it's required, can also get CEs.
So BioTouch is not just some fly-by-night technique. I mean, we have certifications, we have CE credits. You know, we have. It's here to stay, folks.
Yeah.
So please reach out and touch your loved ones. Pass this on to the next generation.
Definitely.
Well, all right, Baby Fest. Go to wisdomwithinbirth.com. Contact Elizabeth Mendoza if you want more information about all the vendors, or you can go to Tucson Baby Fest. There's a list of all those vendors.
Right.
I'll tell you, the resources here in Tucson are amazing.
Very
So
much.
check it out, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you all for joining us.
Have a great week.
Yep.
If pain has got you down and you live in town, take a trip down to Pima Street. The people down there are people who care. They will get you back on your feet. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want to have any real satisfaction, choose love while you still can. Don't even try to understand. A healing grace in your own hands. Put love into action.